I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. A Nintendo Direct tomorrow is happening, and I think I like it. So yeah, we're finally getting our fabled full-on Nintendo Direct. It is happening tomorrow, Tuesday, the 13th of September at, well, I don't know what time it's going to be. I'm going to assume it's 9 a.m. If for some reason it's not 9 a.m., I'll put the proper time up on the screen because I am cheating. I'm filming this video Sunday night in anticipation of this being announced for Monday morning because I have a pretty good inclination that it will be. If not, I guess this video will never see the light of day. But yes, we're getting a full-on Nintendo Direct, not a mini, not a partner showcase, not an indie world. We're getting the goods here, folks. So we, of course, have to make a predictions video. I've kind of been talking a lot about this Nintendo Direct, but there are some things that I haven't really talked about that I want to bring to light in this video as well, because there are things that I think have potential to be there. Of course, the main things we've been talking about is the three-headed GameCube Hydra, that being the Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Metroid Prime. Now, of course, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are going to be HD versions of the games, the ones that essentially came out on the Wii U. I'm not expecting many differences, if any differences at all. I think that these will more than likely just be straight up Wii U ports, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because I thought those ports of the game were really good. You know, Wind Waker's gonna look stupid good on that OLED screen. Those colors are just gonna pop ridiculously. Twilight Princess, I think, is one of the most underrated Legend of Zelda mainline games. It really gives me feelings of Ocarina of Time, and I like those feelings. You know, we like traditional Zelda games here on this channel. Breath of the Wild is great and all. I love the exploration, but I miss dungeons. I like dungeons, and I thought that Twilight Princess had honestly some really good dungeons in it. So very excited. I think those games will more than likely be there. And then the whole Metroid Prime situation, this has potential to be something really interesting because when you look at Metroid Prime on the GameCube, it was one of the most graphically advanced games that released on a console at that time, if not the most graphically advanced game that we had seen. The GameCube was a little powerhouse. This is when Nintendo liked the whole Power War thing, and they wanted to do things with that. Of course, they went with the little mini DVDs instead of a proper disc, which, for better or worse, that kind of made them unique. But I think Metroid Prime, I just, with this game, I hope that it's like, you know, they do something good to it. I mean, it would be fine if they just did HD GameCube textures on it and didn't really rework it or anything. You look at the versions of Dolphin, which of course is a PC emulator that run Metroid Prime HD and stuff. Like, it looks fantastic. It looks fantastic in HD, but I want it to be more built from the ground up. You know, kind of like the whole Last of Us situation, which you can make arguments whether that was built from the ground up or not. That's the sort of situation I want with this game. I want it to be taking advantage of the hardware that we have now. A lot of things have changed in the video game landscape since Metroid Prime came out on the GameCube back in, what, 2002, 20 years ago. It's been since this game originally released. So I think this could be a really interesting showpiece and sort of a glimpse into the future of what Metroid Prime 4 is going to look like. We've never seen these games running natively in HD, unless you played it on Dolphin. So I am super excited for this game. I love Metroid Prime stuff. Like, the 2D stuff is cool. Like, don't get me wrong. I definitely enjoy the classic Metroid style that's sort of like, you know, that got the whole Metroidvania thing going on. But I definitely really enjoy the first person sort of exploration of those games and scanning all the stuff and, you know, learning about the world that you're in through unconventional means instead of it just being thrusted into your face and yelling at you like, oh, this is the story, blah, blah, blah. We got a deep narrative. You're like, nah, bitch. You want to know about this world? You scan things. You learn about it. Of course, there's some awesome boss battles in that game as well. So I'm really hopeful for that. I think it could be a beautiful looking game and a really fun showpiece. Then, of course, you have the whole Game Boy situation. It does seem like that Game Boy is going to be at this presentation, in my opinion. I think they're going to drop a new system announcement. The N64, you've pretty much got a lot of your heavy hitters out of the way there. When you look at the N64 library, like, yes, there are still games that they could bring to the platform, but a lot of games that are available on the N64 that aren't available on the system, they're third-party games, or they're sports games, or they're racing games, which, you know, racing games are fine. There's a lot of fun racing games out there for the N64, but have they aged all that well? You know, are they still going to be fun today? If it's not a kart-based racer, you know, you could probably do that. What was that, Disney kart game that they had on the N64? But I feel like the N64, you know, they're already sort of hitting the peak with that, except for GoldenEye, which, I mean, that could be there. So it's time to introduce another system. It's time to introduce another Nintendo system, and I think the whole Game Boy family of systems is the proper way to go. There is some confusion if it's going to be Game Boy and Game Boy Color, or if it's just going to be Game Boy Advance, or if it's going to be all three of them. I don't see why you can't do all three of them, honestly. Just have the Game Boy, you know, all of the lineage of the Game Boy with those three systems, the Game Boy, the Color, and the Advance, and you have a huge library of stuff that you can add to the service here. You obviously want to optimize your service. When you look at what Sony is doing with the amount of platforms that are eventually going to be available with their new PlayStation Premium tier, you know, you kind of want to be able to one-up them. And obviously, PlayStation has been very half-assed with launching games on there. You know, I've talked about it before. I made a video last week or 2 weeks ago talking about how I just feel like it's half-assed because Jim Ryan, the head of Sony, he doesn't care about classic games. Who wants to play these old games? I mean, he's literally on record for saying that. Whereas Nintendo understands that, you know, a lot of these games have nostalgia, and a lot of these games are really still fun to play. So I think the Nintendo Switch Online is going to get a nice kick in the ass with the new system announcement. And then you have third-party stuff. And, you know, we've talked about Batman. Honestly, that's what I want to see. Like, I don't think you understand how bad I want to play Arkham City again, and I want to be able to play it while I'm on the toilet. I don't want to buy a Steam Deck because I'm an impulsive person. When I want something, I just want to be able to buy it and get it in a timely manner. I don't want to wait months. To me, that's ridiculous. I don't like that. That doesn't fit me because tomorrow I might not want a Steam Deck, but I'll still want to play Batman. So just put the damn thing on the Nintendo Switch. Those games are freaking awesome. They're not available on the Switch. Put them on the Switch. I will buy it and I will review it. You don't even have to give me a review copy. All right, I'll give you the press for free without you having to give me a review copy. You don't have to sponsor a video, but if you want to sponsor a Batman video, be my guest. Be my guest, Warner Brothers. Be my guest. And of course, you know, we've talked about some other stuff. It's really just a mystery, though. I don't think you ever really know what ports are going to be coming to the Switch because that's just sort of what makes the system fun. Like, you never expected something like Deadly Premonition to come to the Switch, you know, choice cuts. Could there be some Konami stuff at this? Maybe some Metal Gear announcements that, of course, then parlay into Tokyo Game Show, which is happening later on this upcoming week. I believe it starts on Thursday, and there's a lot of, you know, hype around Tokyo Game Show, much more so than in years past because companies seem like they're going to be represented well at that. So I think the whole third-party thing is going to be interesting. And then you got the mystery titles, the stuff we haven't really talked about. You know, there's been so many rumors out there. F-Zero GX getting, you know, another GameCube game, getting a remaster and brought over to the Switch. Makes perfect sense to me. Like, it's a low risk, high reward situation because you don't know how popular F-Zero is going to be. You could sit there and go by Twitter metrics and be like, oh, look at all these people that want F-Zero, but Twitter metrics don't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. In the world of business, Twitter metrics don't mean anything. It matters what is putting money in your pocket as a company. So I think remastering that game will be very low risk and potentially high reward. If you put the online play in there, you know, that game obviously had local multiplayer. GameCube didn't really have many online titles. I think Phantasy Star Online was like the only one that you had to buy the broadband adapter for. But that's a home run in my opinion. That game already looks fantastic. It looks fantastic running natively on the GameCube with like an Eon HD adapter. I can't imagine how much better it will look on the Switch. Running at 60 frames per second, that's a no-brainer to me. I would love to see that. Plus, you could sort of test whether there is the market for a new F-Zero game. If that game does well, because that game's going to be new to a lot of people. That's another game that's almost 20 years old now. Or I think it's like 19. I think that game came out in 2003 or 2004. But it's old enough to buy a pack of cigarettes. Well, you can't buy cigarettes anymore in most states unless you're 21. Whatever. It can go to war. It can enlist in the military. So I would like to see that game. And then you got the whole Donkey Kong. I'm hearing 2D Mario, a new 2D Mario. And I'll be honest with you, I don't want it. I'm good on 2D Mario games. Like, I feel like we've hit a limit with 2D Mario games about what you can really do. The whole new Super Mario Brothers thing, that's ran its course. Unless you're coming with something brand new, fresh, exciting. why would I be super interested in a new 2D Mario game? I love the old ones. I love the classic stuff. But can you really do something to justify me wanting a new 2D Mario game, to make it exciting, to make it fun, to make it feel fresh, especially with things like Super Mario Maker 2 already existing on the Switch, and people can make their own levels of Mario and make their own Mario game? Like, is there enough incentive to make a new 2D Mario game and make it exciting? The Donkey Kong situation, that to me is a little bit more interesting though. I'm hoping, because there's been rumors that this also might be a 2D game, and look, I know it sounds like I'm saying I don't like 2D games, okay? And that's not the case at all. But when you compare the amount of 2D Mario games to the amount of 3D Mario games, obviously the 2D well extends beyond that. And I think some of the 3D games are definitely games that are, more interesting as far as bringing people into your system. And the same thing with Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong has been 2D for freaking ever. They gave him one 3D game. It wasn't good. Donkey Kong 64 is not a good game. I don't understand how people like that game. But they gave you Donkey Kong 64, and then that was it. They went back to 2D, and it's like, I feel like you can do so much with the Donkey Kong character as far as a world and exploration and, even a game style. Like, you could go in like a King Kong almost thing, and you can make like obviously not in a serious tone or anything like that, but you can make like a King Kong style game with Donkey Kong, who originally was based on King Kong in the first place. That was the whole thing about him as a character. So I really feel like you could do a lot more with a 3D Donkey Kong game in 2022 than a 2D one. If they do a 2D Mario game, that's fine, whatever. It'll probably have something interesting to make it, feel fresh. But another 2D Donkey Kong game, like, we need a 3D one, man. We need like a whole big ass adventure. Like, I think that would just be so much fun to play, and it would be so much fun to explore this world. And you encourage, you son of a bitch. You have the jungle levels, you have the new Donk City level. It's right there, Nintendo. It's literally right there. You can almost touch it and feel it. How much fun it would be. How many cool things you could do. And you can't really do that in a 2D Donkey Kong game. I don't know. I do love my 2D games, but I want to see Donkey Kong go 3D. If you got to give me a Mario in 2D to give me a Donkey Kong in 3D, that's fine. If they're both in 2D, I wonder how well they'll do. Even Kirby made the jump. Our little pink flu friend Kirby went into 3D. So, I don't know. It's going to be exciting, though. I probably won't stream it because it'll probably be early in the morning, and I'll be getting the crust out of my eyes, and I got to take my notes while I watch the video. And but I will be giving you guys my impressions, my thoughts on everything that was announced. Hopefully we get some new games announced that will be coming out soon, so we can review them on the channel. And yeah, man, it's just an exciting time. I think this week is going to be freaking crazy for video game announcements, with Tokyo Game Show, with potentially Microsoft doing something as well. So bring it on, baby, bring it on. And yeah, so let me know in the comment section down below what you expect to see or you're hopeful to see at this event. And, what do you think about a new 2D Mario game and a new 2D Donkey Kong game? Would you like to see those in 3D, or do you think that there's still a marketplace? And if so, how do you keep it fresh? How do you keep the game fresh to make it feel different than previous entries that we've gotten in both of those franchises? And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share, hit the bell notification as well so you can catch all my videos. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.